Greetings, Rumblers. BlueMax here, and I have Genzic on the line, my co-leader, or technically the boss, over at Diablo Gaming. How's it going, Genzic?
Couldn't be better, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks for joining up with me. We're going to talk about some speculation that's mostly swirling around in my head about this mystery event that's coming to Warcraft Rumble, and specifically the Wowheads in the guild, which is pretty much everyone but me, are all saying that this eye image that was referenced is a reference to the Darkmoon Faire. So, Genzic, you played a lot of WoW back in the day. Why don't you give us a rundown?
Yeah, I was pretty big into WoW for quite some time in vanilla, and I'm assuming that we're gonna treat it as though if Darkfire Moon comes, it will be as vanilla maybe had it. But in
Yeah.
vanilla, you had to go to different end game maps, kill minis, and do such things that would drop things that weren't normally in the game, and then you would cash those in for tickets. And in the game, you could purchase things with these tickets. And at the
Okay.
time, in vanilla, some of these things that you could purchase were not only just cosmetic, but they were best in slot pieces. So they were definitely something that I believe they lasted for 2 weeks, or it would come every month, I
Okay.
believe, or every little bit. And I think what it'll look like possibly in ours is kind of like the raid where it'll unlock once a month, and you got to do it. And it would be
Mm-hmm.
really cool if it was a little bit like vanilla where you have to go to plague lands and do this, and you had to go over here and do that. And it would
Okay.
definitely give you replay value for some of these maps.
Yeah, because you could add some different modifiers, and I don't necessarily mean like surge modifiers, but maybe some unit or family restrictions, things like that, maybe.
Yeah, kill three bosses in Plaguelands. You'd want to probably make it longer than that, but
Mm-hmm.
kill three bosses in Plaguelands. Go to Moonglade, kill this boss, and he drops them. And then you keep going back to the fair, getting these
Mm-hmm.
tickets. And I think for the betterment of the game, you'd want it all cosmetic and things like that. But
Yeah.
um, it's a neat idea for sure.
Okay. So I want to do a quick rundown, and that is basically Gensic and I came from a previous game together called Darkfire Heroes, and I want to kind of draw some comparisons to what I'm hearing about the Darkmoon Faire and the bi-weekly events we had in this game. And so now in our game, Darkfire Heroes DFH, they were Saturday through Sunday only, which also means it was a lot of information. It was a lot of things to do, and it was crammed into a weekend. And that was great, but it was also awful because you felt like you were constantly tied to your phone. Um, there were 3 events a day, and it was kind of the same idea. You complete these events, you go through the motions, but it was fun, and you were gaining event currency the whole time. And there was a shop where you could purchase cosmetics, uh, as well as account progression, and probably the big thing that like Genzic's guild and my guild really focused on were the leaderboards. It was a huge amount of fun to compare yourself to other people, but it wasn't PvP, which a lot of people don't like in this game. It's a polarizing thing, but this was different. You were competing against the engine of the game, but it was tracking score, and it wasn't just a binary win or loss. It was different. So let's delve a little bit more into that. Oh yeah, and there was a guild event per day, and Genzic, your guild for over a year won every one of those events, right?
Uh, we did, but I mean, it was really cool also that there were mechanics in the game like PvP that you would fight
Mm-hmm.
a bot. And so it wasn't like they were scrapping all the stuff that they had already put in the game. They were still using a lot of the stuff. So it
Yes.
shouldn't be too hard to implement such things
Yes.
into a game like Rumble. But yeah, the fun things that we were able to do is just talk about how we were playing the game and how we were getting our scores. Hey, I'm doing this and it works really well. And that just
Yeah.
brought the clan and the Discord and the ideas. It just really helped the community. Well, at least our community out, but I think it helped everybody.
Oh, it did. And I think a lot of people would have quit playing the game a lot sooner if we didn't have these bi weekly events to look forward to. I know I would have. I would have quit sooner.
But the problem with these events though is that they were so draining that we had a lot of good people quit. I mean, my two
Yeah.
co-leads quit Diablo because it was just too much.
Sure. So, um, the Darkmoon Faire being a week long or maybe even a 2 week long event sounds way better. Spread out the content, don't cram it. But the ideas and the principles are still pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, the problem too is we're all working with different time zones. So
Yes.
some of the things that were happening in our old game, you had to log in. I had to log in at midnight, and I had to play. And I'm 100 years old, so it was difficult. I was already in bed for a few hours, so I'd have to wake up, and then I'd have to wake up a few times in the middle of the night just to play this game, and it was difficult.
Yes.
So
I ran
I
into the
don't like
same
that.
problem.
Yeah, I don't like that very.
Sure. So, but that's a different can of worms. Those were the daily events that went on. And yes, those could be draining, like Expedition Rush, where you logged in and you started an expedition, which was basically just a timer. And you had to come back 30 minutes, no, every 30 minutes, all day long to collect the meager little reward, but start the next expedition. Why? Because the game was tracking how many expeditions every player in your guild played, and it was adding it, and then you were competing against the other guilds for a really good chest, a real like
Yeah.
maybe the equivalent of a mega or a mythic tome.
Oh,
So
I'd say even
yeah,
more than that. Like they
so
were when we were PvPing in the early, Diablo was the only clan that was able to get the rewards at the end of our PvP week.
mm-hmm,
And you could tell how much stronger our clan was getting because we were getting that level 10 chest every week. And then
yeah,
Assassins was created and you guys started to get it too. But at the beginning it was just us, and then Legends and Assassins started to be able to get to level 10, and it was such a huge bonus. And
yes,
that was the same rewards for exhibitions and stuff like
mm-hmm,
that. Crazy.
yeah,
And you
and
start multiplying that on already powerful accounts, and it just spirals out of control, and the strong just keep getting strong. That's kind of what happened.
it it did, it definitely did. Okay, and I'm having a little bit of a sound issue. Hang on.
Mhm.
I'm back. Uh,
Yep.
I just unplugged the USB cable to my Scarlett 2i2. All right. Yeah, but let's talk about the event shop in Darkfire Heroes because I think it probably corresponded quite a bit to the event shop going on in Darkmoon Faire. And so you had skins, portraits, and frames that you could purchase just by playing the game. Um, I don't know about you, Genzic, but I would often stay up until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning at the beginning of the event because I wanted to know what units could I buy XP for, and especially if it was a really good one, like in my case, Adeline. I was ready. I was ready to buy those buy that XP.
Yeah, no, it was super helpful to boost your account.
It definitely was, and that's something we could do in Rumble, big time. Um,
Yeah,
you could also
great catch up. Yeah, great catch
it,
up.
it would be, in my opinion, a fabulous catch up mechanic. It would be play the game, actually have fun playing the game, and get a lot of catch up. And
What I would
so,
like to see though is if you're going to boost your account, great.
Mm-hmm.
But then players that already have max accounts should be able to spend those points on something equally cool. Like if you're going to boost your Earth Elemental, okay, great. You have a low
Uh-huh.
Earth Elemental. Do that. But then someone like Fieldsy or somebody who has max level, they should be able to then buy a really cool skin or a really cool. I would like to even see boost their account somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a bunch of more Arclight energy, or I don't know.
How about a
But
legendary core?
he's probably got 30 of them. But yeah, something like that, just to
Yeah.
make it so the guys that are boosting their account, okay, great, you're gonna boost that mini, cool. But the
Uh-huh.
person that's already got level 10 minis and it's already,
Mm-hmm.
they should still be able to buy something with their points that make them go, wow, like I can feel that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think skins, portraits, frames, cosmetics, that would be emotes. Um, those would all be great candidates for the event shop for accounts like mine, accounts like yours, and a lot of other Diablo gaming players. Um, Another key thing is in Darkfire Heroes, the whatever hero or heroes were released each season, they were unveiled at the event, not an in-app purchase or some boring guild mechanic like we currently have. And that was
You
another
know,
reason. Go
they
ahead.
could still do they could still do that. But yeah, that was really neat about the thing. They would bring in a new unit at the
Mm-hmm.
event. They'd have a backstory, and it was great. And that was, I think they could have done a lot more with it. But
Yeah.
right now, War isn't doing anything with their new hero. Hey, here you go. You can't buy it in the grid, but here you go. Pay money and you'll get it to epic or rare. Like,
Mm-hmm.
definitely would like to see you enter Darkfire, Darkmoon Faire, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a little story that pops up. Hey, this is the new unit this month, blah blah blah, and he does this and he does that. Get me 30 tickets and I'll let you start with it.
Yeah.
And
That.
then, all the other ways that are currently in the game, then you can get it.
Yeah. I would be cool with that. Additionally, there was a reward track just for spending event currency, and you know what? That was also a way to get the hero, as well as some
100%.
exclusive. Go ahead.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
It forced you to do the events. It forced you to
Yes.
participate in what was going on, and it was just double dipping in having fun playing the game. You're able to spend coins, tickets, currency
Mm-hmm.
to get cool things. But then if you spend all the currency because you've played all week, ta-da, you get something really amazing. And I know the first time they did events in Darkfire Heroes,
Mm-hmm.
very few people spent enough currency to get to the end, and those people that did were very quite stronger than those that hadn't. So I don't know, super cool,
Yeah.
super cool.
Oh, if I recall correctly, like in one of the early events, a handful of people got the Plexander portrait, and that was a real flex. That was a real flex in the early part of the game to have that portrait.
I believe it was Hand of the Dead or something that was the very first one that I did, and me and Darth, I think, were the only people in Diablo that even had it, and they were like, "Wow, it's so cool!" It's just we were lucky.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was definitely neat to have some of those flexes early on.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're running short of time, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
ouch.
oh yeah, gonna catch us up. So taking kind of what we've discussed, how could Darkmoon Faire look in Warcraft Rumbles and in Warcraft Rumble? And so I was thinking of levels, and so for one thing, let's run it a whole week, not just 2 days. Let's not cram things, and you should get. My idea is, an X number of free tickets per day, and you can buy additional tickets to run the levels, either using coins or Arclight energy. And here's here's kind of the key. Here's how it worked in Darkfire Heroes, and here's how it could be interesting in Rumble. So pick a boss and level. Let's say Son of Arugal. That's one that a lot of people hate, or Kolbatan, doesn't matter. So make the players, make us all run it several times. Maybe that's 5 times, maybe that's 10, but each time you run it, the enemies grow stronger. And rather it just being a binary, you gained victory or you were defeated, basically assume that most of the players are going to be able to clear it, but score points for how quickly you do it and deduct points for however many minis are killed. And so it's kind of a speed run. And you're doing this trade-off between, well, I'm going to get more points by being faster, but I'm going to lose a lot more units, so I'm going to lose some points because my harpies got killed. And so maybe you balance between, well, I need a Holy Nova, or I need Shaman or Tyrion in my deck. Things like that. Thoughts, Genzic?
Yeah, I need to run different tanks. I need to do this, I need to do that for sure. Super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, even do something where, okay, no tanks allowed for this event. And so now you're forced to, you know, come up with a different approach, or no unbound
factions.
units. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
For certain factions. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to run it with undead. You have to run this with undead. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so if you're a larger account or you're super competitive and you want to get on that leaderboard, then you can rerun the levels as many times as you want, or as many times as you can buy tickets, in order to try to maybe make your score higher on each level, so that you can get up there higher on the leaderboard.
And to try to add guild co-op to it, I mean, you would add up the scores. That your clan would be, hey, you know, this clan's got this many points and that clan's got that many points. Definitely make it so you can't shuffle people around like Darkfire Heroes. You could shuffle people around and add your points, and it was.
Yeah, that was a bad situation, but I totally agree with you.
Once the event starts, your guild is locked.
Yeah. Lock the guild. You know, within our game, you could look at the leaderboards. You could go back for about a month, but they did age out. And so what we did, actually what Genzic's, what your guild did, is y'all kept a running track of all the individual scores as well as the guild scores. And that was a big deal to us. You would fight very, very hard to get on that leaderboard.
Yeah, top 7 was where you wanted.
Yep, definitely. Well,
we post it, we'd praise you, we'd be like, hey, you know, this is our top 7 for this event. Good job.
Yeah.
And we would even fight to have Diablo. Hey, all 7 of us were from Diablo. Great job. But yeah. That happened a very few times, but it was neat.
I bet it was. Well, Genzic, you have a hard stop. I wanted to go over a few more modes, but honestly, I think what we've covered really gets the idea across. And
yeah, sorry, I ended up getting called out to another meeting. Yeah, sorry, guys.
All good. Like I said, I really think we covered almost everything I wanted to. So this is fantastic. Thank you so much for joining up with me.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so my audience, if you like this information, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please comment. I would love to hear your opinions. Would love to dialogue with you. Warcraft Rumble is a super fun game. We're just hoping it will be even more engaging and even more fun. All right, bye for now.